Okay, so I only have 9 minutes, so I'm just gonna talk and talk and talk. Basically, I made a couple of videos, but they are not under 10 minutes or under 7 minutes, how I would like them. But honestly, this book, Rockstar, is so good. It is so good. If I look ashy, I just took a shower, and I was putting on some lotion. But yeah, I'm still putting on lotion as we speak. I don't know if my elbow is ashy or not. Is that ashy? I can't really tell. Okay, I know that one is, but this one I can't really tell. But Rockstar by Rosalind Hardy Holcomb. Holcomb. I can't really pronounce people's names or nothing. It is really, really good. It's a good book, and I have read it like a few months back, and I fell head over heels in love with it. I don't know, it's just the thought of some rock star coming and wooing you off your feet. Hell, rappers. Well, I don't know about rappers. Only unless they do not live true to the game that they be spitting. If they come from suburbia and they talk about going to the hood and bang, bang, kill, okay, that might not be the best option. But if they're from suburbia and they talk about going and shoplifting and they don't do it because they're too scared of jail, then that might be the guy for you. But the way there's this part in here in this book that when I want to say when they have their first kiss, it was such a turn on. I want to say it's their first kiss. And I was like, oh my god, I want to get kissed like that. And see, here's the setting. They're in, they're at Kelly's house, in the kitchen. They are the only two there. And he had to stalk her. Just walked up to her, just with his old swagger or whatever he had going on. He walked up to her. And she was trying, every single time he walked up, she moved back, and pretty soon she was trapped by the kitchen counter. And this is their first kiss. I would read it. It's just so much for me to read. Sorry. Read it to myself. Basically, after he done had her pushed up against the counter, he says, she asks him, she goes, Brian, what are you? He's like, shh. He gently took her face between his hands and leaned forward, pressing his lips against hers. Open for me, baby, he murmured incessantly. When Kelly felt his tongue licking delicately at her lips, she couldn't suppress a gasp, giving him the access he craved. He softly caressed her tongue with his own, trying desperately to keep the kiss tender. It was all he could do not to eat her alive, but he knew that he could easily frighten her off if he weren't careful. If he was to have any chance at all with her, he would have to temper the fierce. Oh, he'll have to temper. I think they should have put an A there instead of temper. Temper. I can't really pronounce some of these words, but anyways, he would have to temper the fierce desire raging through his body. Even as he realized this, he couldn't resist the urge to press his body against hers. He had longed to feel her against him for so long. After a moment's hesitation, Kelly moaned softly and gave Brian even greater access to her mouth and body. She wrapped her arms around his neck, and her tongue followed his back into his mouth. She could feel electrical shocks. She could feel electrical shocks everywhere her body touched his and couldn't resist prolonging the contact. Her response heightened Brian's own pleasure and began devouring her. His tongue caressed the roof of her mouth and he inhaled her moan of pleasure. His hands slipped down to her hips, pressing even closer until suddenly He realized that the kiss was exceeding the bounds of decency permissible in her parents' kitchen. He moved his hands back to her face and broke the kiss, looking down at her lovingly. Kelly, open your eyes. He commanded. His voice was already fucking raw. I mean, he sounded like fucking Barry White, I guess. But anyways, his raw voice, so roughened by desire that his whisper was barely intelligible. Callie looked up at him dazedly. Her lips were swollen from his kisses, and Brian strained under the almost superhuman effort it took to resist the urge to take up where they had left off. When he was certain he had her full attention, he continued, Kelly, I'm not playing with you. Then he released her and moved slowly away. Ugh. Now see, why can't guys nowadays do that with us? I mean, honestly, don't just go for the goodies and expect us to fall for them. But I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But I mean, I wouldn't mind a guy pulling the first move on me. Of course, if you're gonna kiss me, don't just jack me up to you and kiss you like that. Do it just slow and languorous, something like that. I mean, I want to be pursued. And that was the hottest thing ever. Oh, I don't know, for some reason, that whole entire part when he told her, I am not playing with you. Because yes, we do play games. We play games a lot. And I gotta go. So, I had to put some clothes on to get the hell on out of this house. And go pick up my mother before she cuts me out and be like, Marnette, you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever, you know. So, I gotta go. I probably exceeded 10 minutes like I planned, but, whatever.